Hey, how you doing? This is Tommy from Discover Movement, and this is the weekly warm-up. Today we'll look at a dynamic warm-up for an overhead athlete. An overhead athlete meaning, for example, a baseball player, a javelin thrower, or even a swimmer. Anyone who needs to use their arms overhead, above the head level, above the shoulder level. So they require stability, flexibility, and mobility in their shoulder and thoracic region. We'll be using a broomstick as a tool. Let's see how it goes. Enjoy.
Okay, let's get started. We're using a little wider grip, similar to a Olympic lifting snatch grip. And we're starting with the movement in sagittal plane, which is reaching down below the knees and then overhead with the little hip extension as the arms reach behind the head. Arms are kept straight during the whole movement, so we get the desired scapular motion and thoracic motion. And the second plane of movement is the frontal plane, and we're using the opposite arm to drive the stick a little further up and to the side. So we'll get the desired effect also in the lats, on the side of the body, the whole lateral line. And the last one, we can turn the palms facing up in the beginning, so we'll get a little bit more throwing specific rotation going on here. So palms up and then straight arm rotation. We can again drive with that other arm, so when you're rotating left, you're driving with the right arm. To get a little bit more rotation, a little bit more range of motion. Same movement patterns in split stance, so we get the abdominal wall and the hip flexor complex a little bit more active during this movement. And as we know, for a thrower, to get the abdominal wall and the whole hip flexor complex involved in the throwing action and ready for it, it's definitely a crucial component in the warm-up. Again, paying attention to the details, we're trying to reach as far as possible overhead and to the side, so we'll get the desired effect. So the side-to-side movement will target nicely the whole lateral line, including the IT band. Okay, and in the rotational movement pattern, you can turn the palms facing up again, to create just a little bit more of that external rotation in the shoulder as the arm goes back, and that opens up the chest nicely and also prepares for any throwing activities. As we can see from the side view, we can also open up the whole diagonal line pretty nice in the split stance with rotation. Definitely a good exercise for a thrower. Okay, switching to a little bit more complicated movement pattern, and this will open up the thoracic spine even more, and there's a little rotation involved here. You are driving again with the opposite arm, so no arm is passive during this motion. The next movement is still a little bit more complicated, but an excellent exercise to prepare for the mobility of the shoulder, thoracic, and scapular region for throwing. And the side view even reveals a little bit more how the arm goes behind the head in external rotation, and the rest of the body is moving integrated with this upper body activity. So we always connect the abdominal wall, hip flexors, and the whole hip area into this dynamic warm-up. This next movement is done the arms behind the back. So the lower arm is driving the upper arm up. And the last stick movement pattern we call the Bruce Lee movement. It resembles a little bit more a martial arts movement than a dynamic warm-up for throwers, but it's an excellent exercise to get the shoulders prepared for throwing. Start this exercise slow so you won't whack yourself in the head or in the leg. That wouldn't be the goal of this warm-up. As you can see from the side view, the rotating stick assists the external rotation and forces also a little bit more concentration on the deceleration component, and this will be an extremely good exercise to keep the shoulder healthy. But start easy, as always, be safe, and see you next week.
Go.